Why study Rizal? Ever since we're young, we've been taking a lot of introductory lessons about our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal. He was probably the most popular Filipino hero of all time, since he's always emphasized during our Hekasi, history, and Araling Panlipunan days. During our third year and fourth year high school, or should I say grade 9 and 10 for K-12 students, we go deeper with the two famous novels of Rizal, which are Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. The mentioned novels were tackled chapter by chapter to ensure full understanding of what is the narrative all about. Just when we thought we are over with too much information about Rizal, Republic Act 1425 of Philippine law requires the life, works, and writings of Rizal in the curricula of all public and private universities and colleges in the country. It seems like learning the same thing all over again, and you might find it a little bit redundant. Some of you who are about to take this course or even just wondering why do you have to enroll in this class when you are already bombarded with numerous information about Rizal might want to take a look into these 10 reasons why we should study Rizal. Number 1. You'll wonder about the past. The reason why we can't move on is we keep on dwelling on the things and events that already happened, just like studying Rizal, but in a positive way. Exploring the life and works of Rizal would give you a better vision of what is it like during the Spanish era and how Filipinos deal with it. The history of the Philippines from 1565 to 1898, also known as the Spanish Philippines or the Spanish colonial period. It was the period during which the Philippines were ruled as the Captaincy General of the Philippines within the Spanish East Indies. The Spanish colonial period ended with the Philippine Revolution in 1898. Number 2. You'll realize how important communication is. For elites like Rizal, Spanish was the language of power and a necessary stepping stone to other opportunities. As a secondary student at Ateneo de Manila, he would also study Latin and ancient Greek before pursuing law and medicine at the University of Santo Tomas. It was in Germany that he completed writing Noli Me Tangere or Touch Me Not in 1887, a Spanish language novel that exposed and satirized the abuses of the Catholic orders in the Philippines. Rizal's novel and its 1891 sequel was to incite more popular support for Filipino self-determination than any of his substantial political prose. There have been a lot of miscommunication issues with Rizal. In life, it is very important to have a clear delivery of what you want to say to avoid misunderstandings. Imagine if Rizal had actually put things in the proper process. Imagine what could have happened if he achieved what he really wanted. Let that sink in. Number 3. You'll prove that too much love will kill you. Dr. Jose Rizal pursued light all of his life, the light of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, the light of truth and reason, justice and equity, the light that would lead to freedom. This was his dream for his beloved country. Dr. Jose Rizal is an advocate for great reforms during Spanish era that shows his love for our country, the Philippines. He is an author of books that has shown his principles that up to date people are still learning from it. Jose Rizal's love for the country led him to his execution. It was such a heroic act of sacrificing his own life for an accusation and being a role model in the rebellion of the Filipinos. Number 4. You think of what ifs. If Dr. Jose Rizal were alive today, I wonder what would be his reactions to today's events and people. If Dr. Jose Rizal were alive today, certainly he would have many things to say about the evils of drugs, as the new social cancer. But he might not be pleased with the leadership style of President Duterte. In our president, Rizal might see a little Padre Damaso and a little Capitan Tiago. And definitely, the hero may develop a dislike of such characters as Apollo Kiboloy, whom he might compare to Padre Salve and the Tulfo brothers. I am sure that if Rizal lived today, he would have written about the many cancers that afflict our social, economic, and political milieu. But definitely he would have an eye on Catriona Gray and Pia Wurtzbach as he used to fall for Nelly Bosset and Elsie Hassan. If Rizal were alive today, we would always be inspired to excel in many fields of human endeavors. One of the most painful things in life is to continually wonder what ifs. Studying Rizal could give you a lot more what ifs in life. What if he got a wife? What if he did not study abroad? What if he just told the Spaniards his real intentions? Things like that. Number 5. It will inspire you to think differently. Rizal served as an inspiration for many people during his time. For him, a revolution is not only about using bolos or firearms, but by using the pen, which is mightier than the sword. Palmo said that it is in the power of writing as a means to effect change that millennials can learn from Rizal. His novels awakened Philippine nationalism while in Barcelona. Rizal contributed essays, poems, allegories, and editorials to the Spanish newspaper La Solidaridad. In both novels, Rizal harshly criticized the Spanish colonial rule in the country and exposed the ills of Philippine society at the time. We've always been taught that Rizal is an iconic hero because he fought with his writings instead of violence, like using the mind over strength. When we think about it, we could really do things our way. It depends on us on how we will act in certain situations we are in. Number 6. It will give you a different view of Rizal. Ask anyone to name a Filipino hero, and you're sure to hear Jose Rizal as an answer. Obviously, this is thanks to his unofficial status as a national hero. His profile is on the 1 peso coin, an indispensable piece of currency. Brands, streets, and a province bear his name. Almost every plaza has some statue or memorial to him, a measure of his stature in the national sight. Historian Ambeth Ocampo writes often, Rizal's greatest misfortune was becoming the national hero of the Philippines. He is everywhere and therefore nowhere. As words or statements lose their meaning when repeated, the same is true for Rizal, or at least it seems to be so on the surface. We know him, what he did, and how he died for it. But do we really know the man behind the myth? Since we normal non-academics have no direct access to what he left behind, it can be quite difficult to understand Rizal the man. Based on some secondary and tertiary sources though, I have come to the conclusion that Jose Rizal is not entirely the hero we often think he is. Just like when someone is courting you or when you are courting someone, former learnings about Rizal was all rainbows and butterflies. But when you've taken the subject, you'll discover secrets and things you've never thought of Rizal. Number 7. You'll get to know Rizal better. There are times when you thought you knew it all, but soon you'll realize how dumb you are to believe such things. I'm gonna stop it right there because it would probably turn out a cringe-worthy Hugot line and you'll start rolling your eyes on this part. The truth is, everything we've learned from Rizal was just a mere sentence of his whole life. Number 8. You'll understand the relationship of in Jose Rizal's collaboration with other heroes, it scholarly identifies Jose Rizal's collaborations with heroes like Andres Bonifacio, Emilio Aguinaldo, Marcelo del Pilar, Antonio Luna, Mariano Ponce, Graciano Lopez Jaina, Jose Alejandrino, and El Delvirito Evangelista. We all know who they are individually, but we are not given the whole context of how they are connected with each other. Studying Rizal will give you part of the whole context on how they are related to each other. Number 9. It would build the inner revolutionary in you. We too often glorify the manner of his death, seeing his life as a series of events leading to that seminal event, without ruminating on the meaning and manner in which he lived. There was an insatiable quality to Jose Rizal. He pursued learning and education to its fullest extent. He delved into what it meant and what it was to be Filipino. He pushed and prodded and agitated for reforms, and when that failed, he returned home ready for revolution at its proper place and time. Rizal was not a man swept up in the tides and currents of events, like others were. He was a catalyst for them, that was driven by his nationalism, his patriotism, and his love for Filipinos. Rizal would build the inner revolutionary in you. Not like you'll have to fight like Rizal or KKKs, but it could get you interested in the current national issues, since you'll know how our heroes fought for our freedom. Just like Rizal, you could do it in your own unique way. Number 10. It is stated in our laws. Republic Act Number 1425, also known as the Rizal Law, mandates all educational institutions in the Philippines to offer courses about Jose Rizal. The full name of the law is an act to include in the curricula of all public and private schools, colleges, and universities courses on the life, works, and writings of Jose Rizal, particularly his novels Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, authorizing the printing and distribution thereof and for other purposes. The Rizal Law, in any case, was emphatically restricted by the Christian Church, much appreciated to the anti-clerical subjects that were pertinent in Rizal's books Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. Let's be frank here. You can't escape this course when you're studying in the Philippines. As mentioned earlier, RA 1425 requires us to do so. It could be really fun and exciting experience. Just give it a chance. Judging and hating it wouldn't do you any good though. So just enjoy the wonders of the life and works of Dr. Jose. The teachings of Jose Rizal has great relevance to the Filipino people, especially the youth, in order to rededicate their lives to the ideal of freedom and nationalism, for which our heroes lived and died. It is also important to pay tribute to him for devoting his life and works in shaping the Filipino character and to gain an inspiring source of patriotism through his writings. Rizal's ideals and teaching can also be related to the current conditions and issues of our society and can develop an appreciation and deeper understanding of all that Rizal fought and died for. As young adults who have been given the responsibility of governing our country's future, we have the obligation to better ourselves, and what better inspiration do we have than Rizal? Most people wonder why it's important to study Rizal's life when all he did is write literature. It is through his writings that he revealed how cruel and abusive the Spaniards truly are in their treatment of the Filipino people. He also enlightened his fellow countrymen to take up arms and stand up for their right. It's because of this that he was imprisoned, but that didn't falter him and inspired him to continue writing. It is Rizal who uplifted his generation and emphasized that the youth is the hope of our nation. We can take a lot from Rizal's life, like being aware of what goes on in our country and not just idly accept the injustice we receive in our country. To quote Rizal, the Filipino are worth dying for. It is of great importance that students understand the rationale behind having to take up a Rizal course in college. And those are the 10 reasons why Filipino college students should study Rizal. That's all for today. Thank you for watching and God bless us all. Bye bye.